Welcome to Platform Connections Tutorials, Positive Marketing Connecting E-Commerce. Hi and welcome to this tutorial on eBay listing recommendations. You have asked us to create the export for you. You've been emailed and notified and you've downloaded the CSV file, and this is what you are presented with. A file with lots of information in it, but what do you do with this file? So we're going to walk through how to update all of the listing recommendations in bulk. I'm going to give you a few tips, a few ideas. It doesn't matter which way you do this, but it is something that you will need to do. So generally all of the information on this page, there's only two columns that you will actually need to change, and that is the listing recommendation value and listing recommendation other, and the other column will depend on what you actually put in the value. So in here, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, if you actually put the word other in the value column, you must fill in something in the listing recommendation other column. So that might be Liverpool, for example, or it might be batteries, or it might be something else. But other is basically telling eBay, I'm not selecting from your pre-enabled list. I'm giving you a different option which I want you to actually put on the listing for me. Other than that, all of this file is pretty much telling you information that you can use. So this column here, eBay listed, is telling you whether the item is already listed on eBay. This is your listing recommendation type and type name, which we'll cover in a moment. These two columns here and your supplier ID and your PCM product ID are all for our reference, so that we can actually assign the right information to your product when we actually have this file imported. So please, whatever you do, don't change any of these details in these particular columns. The product name is not editable within this file. However, it is there for you to know what product you're actually putting or assigning the listing recommendations to. And your product manufacturer is there for assistance in giving you, rather than you having to keep looking up which team or which manufacturer it is. When it comes to putting in the brand, we've put that in for you so that you've got that at your fingertips. So the easiest way to manage this is by doing data and filtering. So you will see here under the listing recommendation type that we've predominantly got two types in this field, and if we scroll down, you'll see that a lot of them are optional, but there's the occasional required field in here. So eBay will not enable you to be able to list this item unless all of the required listing recommendation types have actually been filled in. So in this instance, you do have to put in the required. The optionals speaks for itself. However, I would say that the optionals are there for a reason, and that's to help your buyers to be able to find the product and give them the information at their fingertips to be able to say, yes, this is the product I want. So it's certainly worth spending the time looking at these, and there is a discussion on our blog about getting it right, which I'll put in the link at the bottom of this video that shows you or talks about the reasons why you should be putting that in. So let's go and highlight our whole sheet and go to the data and then filter across the top. And what that will do is it will actually give us some little drop down menus on each of the columns. So what we're going to do is we're going to filter for all of the required options. So I'm going to drop down that, I'm going to de-tick the optional and click OK. And that hides everything that's not a required field. That makes this CSV look a lot simpler. Now we can actually go one step further and we can actually filter by the type name as well. So what we can then do is we can then just look at all of the brands, we can then just look at all of the colours, we can then just look at all of the types, and we can fill that information in just looking up the detail once and applying it to volume. So again, I'm going to drop down the menu and I'm going to deselect everything and just select brand for now. And again, that's hidden everything else and it's just given us all of the brands. And you'll see here in this example, we've actually chosen a number of different products, but they're pretty much all in the same category. Obviously, if you've uploaded your CSV and you've put lots of products in lots of different categories, that's not going to be the case. But just from a tutorial point of view, we thought we would actually just select a whole load of products that are in one particular category so that we can show you how that can be done quickly and easily. Now if you have got multiple categories, you can actually filter it for the recommendations, then by type, and then you can filter it by category and say, right, okay, well just give me all of the ones that are in 260384 category, and then you know that you are looking at and you can apply the same principles of information to every single product for that particular category. So how do we find this information? So we do that by going into our Platform Connections account and doing a search for any one of these products. So you can do it by searching for the product name, or you can actually use our reference, the PCM product ID, so 944249. I'm just going to copy that, and if I'm using the PCM product ID, I can go to my product manager, my products, and pop that into my product ID. And although it's not the product ID that you will see here, it is something that you can search by our ID. So you can see here that the supplier's product ID is 178007, but we're searching it under the PCM product ID. It still gives us the products, but it's just an easy way for you to find it. So if we edit that particular product, and then we go to the eBay Management tab, the blue tab at the top, and just scroll down, we'll see all of our required recommendations on this left hand side here. And as you can see here, we've also got all of the optional recommendations that are actually sat here. And if you want to do this on a product by product basis, there is a completely separate tutorial which we will run you through how to do this, but it is fairly self-explanatory. So if we drop down the menu, you'll see that eBay has actually given us a whole load of different values that can apply for brand. And I know for a fact that Liverpool FC is not in that particular brand, or Arsenal FC, etc, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to select other for the brand. And if we were doing this manually, we would then look at the particular product. So this is an Arsenal product, and we would then put in there Arsenal FC, or Arsenal Football Club, or Arsenal, and then we would then move on to the colour. But we're going to do this in bulk. So if we want to apply those settings in our CSV file, if we go back to the CSV, in the listing recommendation value column, we would type the word other. And that is like you selecting other from this drop down menu. Now, as I said earlier, because we've actually put other in here, we do have to fill in this field here as well for the listing recommendation other. And again, I'm just going to put Arsenal FC. Now that could be quite laborious if you're having to go in and check every single product every single time, but we know that all of these products are in this category that require brand. And we can then say, okay, well, rather than actually looking each of them up, I'm just going to copy the word other into every single one of these. So once we've actually put the other in, we can then just copy and paste each of the teams into our field here. Oops, my mistake. And as you can see, this is a lot quicker than going through. And if you want to just copy and paste, it's the shortcuts are Control C to copy it. Select your column you want to paste it in, and Control V. and that's then done. So we've applied all of those brands in what, 20-30 seconds. So if we now go and say, okay, well, let's go to colour and let's do the same for colour. Oops, that's obviously a filter that I put in, I apologise. So again, if we go back to our options in platform connections and we look at all the different colours, we've got multicoloured in here, we've got orange, we've got pink. Now most of these, if you were to actually look at the actual item itself, are going to be probably multicoloured. So as you can see here, it's red and clear. So you've got some choices here. You can either select multicoloured, or you can put the word other, and in the other you just put in there see description or see picture. So you can decide how you want to put this information into eBay. So I'm actually going to say, well, actually I'm going to put it into multicoloured. So I go back to my spreadsheet and I can say multicoloured. Now is eBay spelling it? Yeah, it is the UK way. Sometimes they because it's American, sometimes they will actually spell coloured the American way. So all we're then going to do is we're just going to copy multicoloured into all of those fields, and then we can then go into our type and we can do exactly the same thing. So again, if we go back, we can then look and we can say, okay, well, what type is it? It's actually a travel mug. So do they have travel mug in here? Travel mug, there you go. So if we go back to our CSV file and we can put in travel mug, and then we can just copy that into all of the other ones as well. Once we've actually filtered them all, we can then just treble check by selecting everything just to make sure that yes, okay, you know, we've got all of the information, all of the required fields are entered. So we can then go back and we can then deselect and select all the optional ones, and as you can see here, this has then gone, and this is my fault because I did something earlier. You can see here that we've actually filled in all of the information, and it's been really quick. So we've actually applied that to what I think 9 products in maybe 2 or 3 minutes. If you imagine that you're doing that across the board on multiple products, it's not going to take you that long to get all of these settings done. So once you've actually completed all of the required settings and or optional settings, if you're going to do that, simply save it, upload it to Platform Connections via the import, and making sure you're selecting the right import type, and we'll then apply all of those. If those are then able to be listed, you don't need to do anything else. Literally, we will then start listing your products and notifying you if, you know, giving you information on the actual individual products if they're not able to be listed. We hope this tutorial has been of use to you, and we look forward to seeing you soon.